Were flicking lit cigarette butts at the naked man. There were two, one after the other. And I definitely felt like that was crossing a line, that you're not supposed to try to burn detainees with cigarette butts. And at one point, one of them was slapped. One of the men cried. And it was just, I felt sickened by what was going on. I was really shocked. I didn't know at all how to react to that. It wasn't what I expected. After it was over, I approached the non-commissioned officer who was in charge and told him that I thought what he was doing was wrong, that it might violate the Geneva Conventions, and that certainly he was turning anybody who walked in innocent into a terrorist by the time they left, and that I wouldn't participate again, that I wouldn't have anything to do with it in the future. And he said he knew that what he was doing was probably crossing a line. But that was that. He didn't ask me to participate again.
بعد حوالي 6 شهور تم إطلاق سراحي كوني من الاعتقالات الخاطئة. كل هذه المعاناة أطلق سراحي كوني من الاعتقالات الخاطئة.
Since we last met in this chamber, combat forces of the United States, Great Britain, Australia, Poland, and other countries enforced the demands of the United Nations, ended the rule of Saddam Hussein, and the people of Iraq are free.
أي ديمقراطية يتحدثون عنها هاي؟ أي ديمقراطية؟ ديمقراطية سجن أبو غريب؟ لو ديمقراطية استخدام الدريل يعني المثقب الكهربائي أثناء التحقيق في سجون وزارة الداخلية العراقية، فأي ديمقراطية أتوا بها؟ أمريكا لم تبني شيئا في العراق.
Prior to the war, our organization put out a statement stating that war breeds torture. And that was based on the experiences of many of our members. When we released that statement, people just brushed us aside. When the photographs of Abu Ghraib were released to the public, I know that I've heard people say all of this is just an isolated incident. It's not an isolated incident. I think of our members from Peru, from Bolivia, from Paraguay, from Argentina, from the Philippines, Vietnam. All of them have had experience where the United States government has been involved in their torture. Probably not directly, but by supporting that particular government. And in the case of Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo and Afghanistan, we definitely know that the U.S. was involved. My name is Sister Diana Ortiz. I am a U.S. citizen. I was raised in New Mexico. I am a member of the Ursuline community of Kentucky, and I currently live in Washington, D.C. I went to Guatemala in 1987 with the goal of teaching children. I taught children from 4 years old to probably 17 years of age. At the time, I never thought that teaching children would be a dangerous type of work. But as I've thought about it through the years, when people began to learn to read and write, then they recognize that they have basic human rights and they began to speak out.
On November 2nd, 1989, I was praying alone in the garden of the church retreat house when two men abducted me at gunpoint.
They've taken my sweatshirt off and are explaining the rules. We're going to ask you some questions. If you give an answer we like, we'll let you smoke. And if we don't like the answer, we'll burn you. The rules are unfair, I venture. They burn me. They ask me my name, age, and place of residence. The anticipation is worse than the burns, wondering if this answer is good enough. But for every answer I give, they burn me. Every time I am silent, they burn me. They show me some pictures. The first is of me in San Miguel Acatan during the festival 2 years earlier. Do you know who this is in the picture, they ask. It's me. They burn me. And who's this? They show me a photo of an indigenous woman holding a gun. This is you, they insist. She bears no resemblance to me. She's an indigenous woman with long hair. It isn't me. It's not me. They burn me. I had more than 111 cigarette burns on my back alone. That didn't include the front section of my body.
que en Guatemala se cometió un genocidio que dejó un saldo de 200,000 víctimas entre desaparecidos, personas ejecutadas extrajudicialmente, personas masacradas en matanzas colectivas. El 83% de las víctimas pertenecientes al pueblo maya. Casos numerosísimos de tortura, de violación sexual de mujeres, asesinato de niños, robo de niños, pues prácticamente todo lo que la humanidad ha tipificado precisamente como delitos contra la humanidad. Soy Gustavo Meoño Brenner, fui requerido por el Procurador de los Derechos Humanos para hacerme cargo de este proyecto de recuperación del Archivo Histórico de la Policía Nacional de Guatemala. El hallazgo de este archivo se produjo paradójicamente por casualidad. La Procuraduría de los Derechos Humanos estaba investigando una denuncia sobre la existencia de un depósito de explosivos de la Policía Nacional Civil. Efectivamente, ahí estuvo ese depósito de explosivos, pero resulta que había otros edificios con puertas cerradas y tras de ellas se descubrió este archivo histórico de la Policía Nacional. Este hallazgo, que ocurrió el 5 de julio del año 2005, tiene una trascendencia enorme porque el Estado sistemáticamente negó la existencia de archivos del Ejército, de la Policía, del Ministerio de Gobernación, y resulta que ahí estaba. Estos edificios hoy albergan el archivo histórico, pero antes que eso aquí funcionó el 6º Cuerpo de la Policía Nacional. El 6º Cuerpo de la Policía Nacional fue uno de los cuerpos de policía más represivos, donde se cometieron seguramente muchas de las violaciones de los derechos humanos que corresponden a ese periodo. Y todo eso ocurrió en Guatemala a lo largo de 36 años que duró el conflicto interno en nuestro país, y con particular violencia, con particular crueldad durante un periodo de 10, 11 años. Es el periodo contemplado entre 1975 y 1985. Aparecen, se desarrollan estas prácticas espantosas, pues, de las mutilaciones, de las torturas, que pueden llegar a despedazar completamente al ser humano. Y a partir de ahí también la tortura sufre